Yes, hello everybody. I'm Gianluca, head of growth at Daimo. And at Daimo, we do something pretty simple is that we are the ramp for ambitious stablecoin app. What does that mean? Is that we are seeing a lot of compelling use cases being built thanks to stablecoins, where retail users get a direct value prop. You have apps like Polymarket, a perp dex, a stablecoin neobank, where people actually get the need. But that's at the moment where they get onboarded, they get faced by the crypto technicity. It's copy the address, send this stablecoin on this chain. And so essentially, Daimo, what we're doing is we're creating a funnel. First thing, so that on the on-chain part, you can send any stablecoin, any digital currency, and it will settle into the blockchain and the stablecoin of the original app. And now we're also focusing a lot on supporting fiat connection. So that means that depending on where you come from, we open the right local bank account for you so that you can really easily connect your local payment app, your local bank, and directly get onboarded into the app. And so essentially our main focus is that these ambitious people building these great stablecoin apps should just focus on the value prop they're doing. And this really hard part, we just spend our whole time handling it and making it perfect.
So who are your potential clients or your clients? Is it people who are building neobank apps? Is it people building any sort of, modern non-custodial applications? Is it the likes of fintechs? Who are your clients here?
Yes, we have already quite some clients. We have companies like Minipay, who are a stablecoin neobank, really popular in Africa. Where Minipay, it's a subsidiary of Opera. And Opera, the browser, it's one of the most used browser in Africa because they're really lightweight and can run on any device. And so at the same time, they've introduced this non-custodial wallet that is gives a dollar access to any African. So for example, with them, one of the technicities that they're on a blockchain called Celo using USDT. And no one has really easy access to it. And thanks to us now, they have access to literally any major chain like Tron, Solana, Ethereum, etc. We work with Polymarket also on some cross-chain flows that they currently have. We work with MetaMask. So for example, they just launched the MetaMask card in the US, and so you can purchase it in any currency, and it will settle in MetaMask USD on their blockchain linear. And let me actually think about. We also work with EtherFi. I think I'm missing some, but
No, that's fine. I understand the concept. So basically, the idea is I'm MetaMask. I want to build an app where my users can send and receive and do things with stablecoins, but I don't want to deal with do they send me USDC on Polygon or USDT on Tether or whatever? You abstract it away from me as an app developer, basically.
That's right. And even also what's really important is for the end user, we also make it really smooth, where you as an end user, you're not even aware that MetaMask is settling on a specific chain, specific coin. This is some technical detail that we don't show you. And also we try to treat all USD stablecoin as one-to-one. So there's not this really weird experience of saying on USDT it's equals 0.99 USDC. We actually abstract all of that. So we're really trying to head toward fintech experiences by using Daimo.
And I think one of the things that drew my attention is that obviously for historical reasons, as of right now, 99.9% of all stablecoins are US dollar denominated. Of course, if you have clients in all over the world, at some point, they're going to want to interact with their own currency. And right now, what they have to do is they have to swap into local fiat, etc. But if the trend is towards stablecoin supremacy, then eventually we're going to want to have a local stablecoin as well. So I saw your discussion on this on Twitter. Have you seen a lot of demand for non-USD stablecoins?
I mean, we have to put some big asterisks on what you refer to a lot. But for example, what's super interesting, we have a client that's building a neobank called Tria, and they have the whole classic stack you can imagine, and they have a lot of clients in Japan. and we processed like a couple of maybe $100,000 of volume every month of GPYC stablecoin to USDT. So like the cards, they have to settle, I think, with Visa or MasterCard for the stablecoin card. They need to like get USD stablecoin on the card. But every clients they have in Japan, they actually come from GPYC because GPYC is currently the easiest way and the cheapest way. It's the easiest, cheapest, fastest way to get Japanese yen from your bank account into the on-chain world. And so currently we have like a lot of flow of like just GPYC USD exchange rates. And so like, for example, this is like one example like we are personally seeing of like non-USD flow that we are actually processing since like a few months ago. The one that we are actually like starting to prepare internally that will like come out soon and we will be like processing quite some flows about it is that like we actually partner with non-USD stablecoin companies like Loon, who's issuing CADC, the Canadian stablecoin. And we are actually partnering with them so that we can offer Canadian the best way to on-ramp on chain. And so they can like directly send from Interac, that is the equivalent of Zelle for Canada, and they mint one-to-one with no fees Canadian dollar. Then we like directly have it available on chain. We can like directly either plug it to like a Canadian neobank, or they can directly exchange it on Base, for example, or like a really efficient fast blockchain to like USDC at a really efficient rate. So that's like the current use case. Is it a lot? No, it's still like peanuts compared to the huge volume of like USDC, but like it's still pretty interesting to like see that there is like demand for it, and like we're like processing it.
And I suppose it's growing demand, right? Like, do you see a world where we move away from just two or three large stablecoin issuers to a world where there's, for every single market and every single niche, there is a dominant player, and then all of the other things get resolved on the back end?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna really come to that. I think it's gonna be hard for Tether and Circle to actually keep up on issuing in other countries. I mean, we've been seeing Circle that they're like the leader of the like non-USD stablecoin that's not sanctioned in the world, like with biggest volume is EuroC. But like even in the EuroC cinematic, we're like seeing a lot of competition happening with like Euro E that were like the first one. Now we have like Euro P that was like an initiative of like a lot of like European companies. I think there is one coming, maybe Euro V. But like I think people are like actually seeing the value into it. There is like actual demand, and I think it's like it's really a mix of two things. I think like the demand, and I'm like really focusing just on retail because like that's what at Daimo like focus a lot. It's a mix of two things. The first thing is like people think in their currencies, so I think it's pretty delusional to think, oh, I'm gonna build a neobank in emerging markets, use the blockchain as a ledger, but I'm not gonna like quote everything into the local currency. I'm just gonna use US dollar. I think things don't work like that. People see US dollar as an investment, not as their
As a
like
currency.
daily. Yeah, and so like that's I think like one big first like value prop for having non-USD stablecoin when you go in a specific country. And the second thing is on and off ramping. I think is like currently it's going to probably be the cheapest and most like efficient way to have like retail users to actually come on chain and like mint this like non-USD stablecoin to actually like get a first step in, and then like potentially if they want to interact with apps that are not using the stablecoin but that are using USD stablecoin, then they'll just like use the on-chain liquidity to actually get their like path over there. I think like the more like a lot of people who are currently hating the non-USD stablecoin space, they're saying like one of the biggest issue is just like liquidity. But I think if the
Yeah.
incentive are there, it's gonna be like solved pretty quickly. I'm not really concerned by this problem personally.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually personally thinking about this because I'm Costa Rican in part, and I went to Costa Rica twice this year, and just there is no neobanking ecosystem there, right? It's like a very small market. The laws are like not super competitive. Like Nubank and Wise and Revolut, these players don't really come in because it's like too onerous for them and too small for them more than anything else. So I was thinking like, oh, like it would be nice to launch a non-custodial neobank maybe there, and like you could conquer the whole market. But then I realized like, okay, like they have the local equivalent of Venmo slash Pix. People want to use it. That's how you pay for everything. You go, you buy something from someone in a shop or in a store, and you text them the money.
Yeah.
How do I do this? Like, okay, like the way I do this is I could do it if I have like some sort of like US dollar to local currency swap that then sends it. But then like, okay, people probably also want to hold their balance in this currency, right? Because like if your expenses are in this currency and you receive your salary in this currency, then you don't always want to like swap here and forward back to dollars. But obviously like this infrastructure doesn't quite exist yet, or at least not that I know of. But if you had a local stablecoin, then you could build a whole local non-custodial neobank on top of it.
Totally. Yeah, I think like that's like really like the kind of use cases we should like be looking for. Like I think like people don't realize how big of an unlock it is to actually like build a non-USD stablecoin in an emerging market that's like plugged to I think what's really important is that it needs to be plugged to the local rails, right? Because like
Yes.
we could today like build a Costa Rican
Colon.
stablecoin that
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
like colon, but like that acts as DAI, like that is
Yeah.
like decentralized stablecoin. But like then like if you cannot plug it to the real world, then it becomes really worthless, right?
Yeah.
You really like need to like have sort of like a local partner that like like act as the issuer and sort of like design really compelling like in and out flows. That's what I think makes the stablecoin really relevant. I mean that's why I think A7 A5 is like really relevant, is that it allows people who are sanctioned to actually have like a way to get in and out of the Russian economy. But like that might be maybe a bad example for today.
Okay, but no, let's talk about the stablecoin because they're in the news as being like quote unquote the largest non US dollar stablecoin or the highest volume one. I don't remember exactly what it is, but like
Biggest TVL, like market cap of.
but like I don't really understand like I guess so I try to look at where their volume is coming from, and CoinGecko points at like Uniswap, but there's not that much on Uniswap. There's like one big amount one day. I'm guessing it's like Russian exchanges that are not plugged into the CoinGecko data feed. So like what do you know about this like ruble stablecoin?
Yes, so let me take my notes about it. I know it's like it's handled by a private company that's registered in the Kyrgyzstan. So like it's not even a Russian company. It's like I think they're even sanctioned in Russia. That's like the interesting part. Because I think it's like also not in
Really, they're dual sanctioned
yeah, because like I think it's also not in the interest of like Russian governments to have like easy way for Russians to like flee their country, right?
to get out.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's sort of like they're like in a big in between, and so the like primarily use case of this stablecoin is like cross-border payments with Russian companies, because like currently all these companies they have no access to any other rails. Like you have to imagine that like all of these Russian companies that are having like cross-border payment flows with like surrounded countries, they're just blocked because like they're literally sanctioned everywhere. So currently what they're sort of using is that they're using this stablecoin and all the flow is like almost OTC all the time. I think that's why like the volume is like so low on Uniswap. And also why I think one of the reason the volume is so low on Uniswap is that like it's also sanctioned on all the like all the UIs. Like I don't know if you've tried to like type the
Of course. Yes, makes
you
sense.
cannot trade it on any like accessible interface that you have. It makes it really hard, but essentially, from what I understood, the main use case is like it's a really easy way for them to like onboard their treasuries into it, and at any point where they need like payments cross border, they actually use it to like OTC with something like USDT or something like that, and it's generally like big flows at once. And also interesting is like A7, A5 is actually issuing a lot on Tron now. So yeah,
I guess that's where the USDT supply is, right?
yes. So it's really like it really seems like Tron is becoming the like chain for emerging markets slash sanction.
That's super interesting because like when this started, like, Tron used to be very cheap, right? So like USDT getting like network effects on Tron makes sense, but Tron is no longer that cheap. You
Yes.
know, it's not one of the cheaper chains anymore.
Yes, it just I think it's like people don't realize how network effect is so strong. We have some theory internally of like how it can like how Tron still keep up and exist and is still so used. We have sort of like mix of two theories. The first one is just like how smart they've been with their like public address design. Sorry. I'll restart. But like the first theory, it's on like the first theory is on like the way they've designed their addresses. That is like really smart. So they've done a Ethereum fork, but instead of like recopying the whole design, like all the L2s or L1s, like Tempo and stuff like that, where they all inherit the same public address, they actually have their own public address format that starts by TRX something. And so what happened is that like if you copy the Tron address in any wallet or exchange and you actually send from the wrong chain, it will actually tell you, "Oh, we don't recognize this address format. This is the wrong chain." Whereas like for example, if today I'm gonna use a new Tempo chain coming soon, I copy the address, I put it in Binance or Coinbase, and then I just send my money is lost. And so I think that's like the first thing that's been so smart about Tron is that like any OTC person, any person who's been trying blockchain, they probably did the mistake of like sending on the wrong chain with an Ethereum address once. They got such a bad experience that they just like went for Tron. And the second theory that we also have that like both are actually like they can like live together is that OTC, like this money movement, are handled a lot of time by old people. Like I come from Argentina personally, and in Argentina, like all the like OTC is a thing that even happened on the retail level. Like people had to like buy dollar to escape the really high inflation that is like past like 2 years ago. Now it's like way better. But like when there was like a black market exchange rate, it was like really hard. Everybody had to use OTC desk, and OTC desks are like all handled by like old people who are like 50 years old plus. And
Yeah.
so generally, like these people, when they use one technology, they just don't change.
Yes.
Like how they are. Like they use one computer for the next 20 years, and then you change the operating system, and it's like it's a whole crisis. And so I think it's also the same like behavior with the chain. It's like, oh, I never had any time a problem with Tron. I prefer to pay like $5 a fee than risking going on a new blockchain where I don't have the experience. I need to set up a new wallet, etc., etc. I can like send on the wrong chain, and so they just like stay with what they're used to.
Yeah, no, these are incredible network effects that Tron has. Let's step back to this like Russian ruble stablecoin, which is super interesting. It's sanctioned on both sides. So like, how do you think it's being used? Like, is it like I'm an exporter, I do cross-border payments in Russian rubles, and then I want to swap OTs, like basically I will receive USDT, I will swap it for the sanctioned stablecoin, and then I can exchange the stablecoin one-to-one in Kyrgyzstan using like Russian rubles. Is that how it works?
I don't have like so much details about it, unfortunately.
Because like if it's sanctioned on the Russian side, then it would be a little bit tricky, no? Like for them to exchange from that to rubles. But I guess it's in a different country. It's in Kyrgyzstan, so maybe they get away with it.
Yeah. So from what I'm looking, the three ways to acquire it, there is like you can do with like there is like corporate bank flows where like you need to KYB with the company, and then you can like send them to their online like to their accounts, and that lets you mint 785. There is also a support of individual accounts, PSB bank individual accounts, where you can like KYC. But seems like that's not like that's like very limited because like the Russian government like get pretty quickly aware of like your crypto trace. and people don't use it. And then
Yeah.
there is something that they say it's pretty common is that there is like IRL offices in Moscow that like accept like your cash note for A75. So that seems like to be like
And you just basically go with your cash there and say, hey, like, can you give me cash?
yeah,
Can you give me like Russian
like
ruble stablecoin?
yes, that seems to be the main flows. And
I mean, it's super interesting.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's like I would love to come with more details. I think the best thing I should just go to like Moscow and go try it by
Go
myself.
check it out. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to reach out to them as well, and they don't do interviews, so
Yeah.
it's an interesting product.
Do you have like more info on your side on like what you've
A
been?
little bit more, but not a lot more. I have more questions than answers,
Makes
to
sense.
be honest with you, because it's hard for me to see the volume of it, right? So it's
Do you see a lot of transfers?
if I that's what I'm trying to figure out. So it's if we look at if I look at like the exchanges, the markets listed on CoinGecko, well, it has like negligible volume, like $3,000 worth of volume in a day. But if I then go check the contract, let me see what I see
The
there.
most, I think,
I see 14,500 holders, which is like not an insignificant amount of
I think the most interesting part is like go on
amount.
TronScan.
Yeah.
On Tron there is like on Tron there is almost 25,000 holders, and I think the most interesting thing to look at is actually it's the transfers. Like there is in this like
Yeah.
past hour there's been like more than 30 transfer of people like sending like there is someone who just like sent 3 billion, almost 4 billion ruble to like one address to another. So like there is some flows over there, and that's I think like my big assumption is that like it's a lot of OTC desk flow, like
Yeah.
USDT to A75.
Yeah. Although, like, if I look at the market caps, like it on TronScan, it's telling me it's about $500,000. On EtherScan, it says on-chain market cap is about $7 million. So it's like not tiny, but it's also not like huge. Although they have two market caps here, they have $500 million as well for circulating supply on EtherScan. Yeah, not exactly here. Yeah, these do look like mostly just like OTC transfers,
Yeah,
really.
that's right.
And there is some function where I see some like swaps happening, not on USDC. Yeah, there's some tether swaps going on, but they're not on Uniswap. I wonder what this contract is. I mean, we'd have to look into it. Because there's also like the wrapped version of the token, which
Yes.
just is a little bit confusing as to why that would need a wrapped version. Yeah, they seem to have their own smart contract, the swaps.
But honestly, I think it's really interesting as a use case. I think like the really beauty of what Ethereum is showing with this currency is that like, yes, it's sanctioned. Yes, like it's just, like the ruble is sanctioned, Russia is sanctioned. But at the end, like we're all free individuals. Like there is nothing that like physically would stop me today to like go to Moscow and like go get some like cash ruble, right? And like today was sort of like pretty beautiful. It's like A75 is like sanctioned, like they're putting like a lot of restriction for me to actually like get it through like a nice interface. But like if I wanted, I could like just go get some A75, and like it's just a currency that like people should like freely choose to use and own if they want. I think that's like a great illustration of like the neutrality of Ethereum.
Yeah, I think the whole crypto thesis was originally, right, this whole idea of censorship resistance, right? You have money that the state cannot confiscate. And then, of course, stablecoins came in. And stablecoins are a lot less censorship resistant than Ethereum or Bitcoin. But now, now you have this stablecoin which is potentially censored on two sides, on both Russia and the US. And, we saw transactions within the last 30 minutes, so perhaps stablecoins are actually more censorship resistant than we thought. Perhaps it's the way of bringing online all of the old traditional sort of offshore money centers into the internet era.
Yeah. Is that like a question or?
I mean, it's not so much a question. I think it's an
Yeah,
observation. And I think based on what you guys are working as well, I think, like a lot of crypto people I speak to, they believe, everything is going to come on chain sooner or later. And I think you guys are kind of seeing this as well. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to bring
A
up?
really important thing I want to bring up is like A7, A5 is like an interesting project. We are an American company. We don't process.
You do not. Yes, exactly. No, that's abundantly clear to me, and it should be abundantly clear to everyone as well that you guys don't work with this. Cool. Before we wrap up, is there anything else we should discuss that we haven't done so far?
No, I think we've touched like all the main points. I think like one thing I will add that is sort of like the interesting thing I've been like learning about non-USD stablecoin, like as like really compelling use case. I think like I've listed the main two. It's like really easy on and off ramp. Like you're gonna see it way more with Daimo soon. Like we're gonna use it for like Canadian on and off ramp. We're gonna come with like Australia, Argentina, Brazil, Japan. We're gonna cover like many countries thanks to that, and I think like there'll just be like more to come. One use case that I think is like actually super interesting is for like emerging markets where there's like high volatility. Lending protocols are gonna make a lot of sense plugged with non-USD stablecoin because like the same way like you live in the US and you might see Bitcoin as an investment and you use it as a collateral to borrow and get USDC. The people in the emerging market, they see it the same way with US dollar and like non-USD stablecoin. And so you could have like flows, like for example, Argentina in 2023 had 200% yearly inflation, but you still day to day spend your money in Argentine pesos. So it would be actually super interesting, I think, that like will unlock really easily, that like you can sort of like lock your USD stablecoin, like USDC, USDT, and you can borrow against and get some like Argentine pesos or like a really high inflationary currency that almost sort of like will pay off by itself by the backing asset you have because you're just like flying a really high inflationary currency, but at the same time like you need to like use it to like spend day to day. No one have ever done that yet. I think it's gonna come. I think it's like super interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's also a very interesting way to effectively like do like a global yield arbitrage. If I want to borrow in Costa Rica, for example, again, super small market, not competitive banking sector, I'm going to be paying double the price, even to borrow in dollars or to lend in dollars. I will be twice the yield there than in the US, if not more. And if you get to a point where like, okay, like I can issue the currency in a stable coin, then all of a sudden like, the lending markets will start to converge because stable coin is stable coin. And of course, like it's still going to be higher, but like it's probably going to come down. I think it's super interesting opportunity if all of a sudden yields globally start compressing or adjusting towards the Fed rate, I guess, thanks to this.
Totally. I mean, I don't think it would probably like not be as close as Fed rate, but it would be like super different for countries.
Yeah, I mean,
but it will be for sure. It will be super interesting because like it will just like optimize the offer and demand. Oh, one thing I want to add that like people are missing a lot because in the US they don't live this problem. But there is like a lot of countries where there is a control of the value of the currency. Like Argentina was an example of this, or like Turkey is an example of that.
Yes.
Is that there is like an official rate that like Visa and MasterCard have, for example, to use, or like banks have to like comply with.
Yeah.
And then there is a black market rate that is like the real market value of the currency because like people need to like overcome the sanction of the country. And what's great about getting non-USD stablecoins is that if you exchange it on a decentralized exchange, cannot you don't get the sanction of the countries. You actually trade on the like official market rate. like what a lot of countries call black market rate, like the real market rate of a currency. So you always get like, I think, closer to the truth with sort of like transacting on like a more neutral layer. And that's also like, I think, amazing use case for it.
Yeah. Cool. Dude, this has been super, super interesting. I'm excited to see the world of non-USD stablecoins grow. Where can people go if they want to find out more about you or about your work?
Yeah, I'm pretty active, maybe too active on Twitter. It's called,
As we are
yeah,
all.
I'm an X now. It's called GLMINOPRIO. And yeah, that's like my Twitter account. Like I tweet a lot about like non-USD stablecoin lately, about what we do at Daimo. If you like virtual reality or like motorsport, I tweet a lot about that too. I sort of like, I just treat it as like a open book
Outlet. All right, Gianluca, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for your time.